Okay guys, today I'm doing Composite Pluto in Libra in the 7th house. What I'm going to do is read a little bit from Robert Hand so you get the idea of what is happening with Composite Pluto. And I will put the link for his book, which I've got, which is Planets in Aspect, below the video. So to begin with, and then I'm going to show you a really small slideshow and speak a little bit about Pluto in Libra or the 7th house in Composite. So Composite Pluto is the planet of death and regeneration. In a composite chart, it represents those energies that cause a relationship to go through periods of heavy change. When Pluto is operative, something goes out of existence and a new order comes into being. Its action is absolutely essential to prevent the stagnation that occurs when an old way of life has outlived its purpose. The old must be cleared away to make room for the new state of being that will follow it. When dealing with Pluto, you must let go of whatever is going through the Plutonian crisis. If you try to hold on to something that is properly dead, you will not succeed in saving it. You will only make the situation worse. So you might see that where you've held on to, maybe a car too long, and then eventually it dies on you, or you're in a job which you know you really want to leave, but you keep hanging on in there and hanging on in, or moving, or a relationship. So we can see how this plays out, that, eventually we're going to have to let something go because everything's in a cycle anyway. And Pluto operates with such tremendous power that it may be divorced from its death and regeneration, which is good to know, aspect, and be experienced purely as power. The power results from the inevitability of Pluto's transforming qualities. So Pluto also transforms things. The transformations ruled by Pluto are those that arise from the very nature of what is transformed. Its effect is as much an integral part of an entity's as an object's weight, size, and color. Every living thing contains a set of circumstances that will eventually bring about all of its fundamental changes, including the death. The power of Pluto comes from within. So when we understand this, we can sort of see that, the depths of what's going on, and we get to evolve. And as we understand our relationship with ourselves and our relationship to others, we can speed up our evolution and not get stuck in the mire of the hard stuff. But clearly we're humans, so sometimes we're going to feel fear and we're going to hang on to things that really need to be let go of. So next slide. And this is a few pointers that I want to make. And we've got the house and sign where Composite Pluto resides shows us the evolutionary intention and the prior life desire. So it's really important to understand that. It shows us where the relationship left off, and then the polarity point shows us the way forward to resolve karmic issues. The north and south nodes and the location of the rulers are really important in evolutionary astrology, and the intention of the relationship will be seen in the polarity point of Pluto and the house and sign it resides in. Here we can also understand the reason for the relationship is taking place. We can understand the reason by looking at the chart. And Pluto, you can look at Pluto, the Soul's Evolution Through Relationships, Volume 2, Jeffrey Wolf Green. And I'm going to go to the next slide. And here is my chart. So what you'll see, if you see my mouse, this is my natal chart. So you've got the MC there, you've got Pluto, 15 degrees, conjunct Uranus on my MC. So, if you look at a natal chart, then you know what you're looking at if you're looking for where your Pluto is. And it's all, quite deep work, but it's good to know. And also something else I'll show you, my North Node is at 25 degrees, conjunct my DC, it's conjunct my Sun, it's conjunct my Mercury and my Mars there. And the South Node, which is past life, is conjunct my Neptune in my 12th house. Next, this is a chart with a friend of mine, and what you can see is that the Pluto and Uranus is conjunct, and it's in the 10th house. So this is where it gets defining, and what you'll know is that, or maybe you won't know, but I'll tell you what we do in evolutionary astrology. We will look to the polarity point of the chart to resolve any issues that are going on in the 10th. So whilst that be defined, we're looking for resolution at any point. So now what I'm going to do is just find my point here, which I should have had ready. And we're going to look for composite Pluto in 7. And here it is. So I'm going to read this, what it means, so you'd be able to define if you have a relationship with composite Pluto 7th or in Libra. So this here is about the learning to be in relationship and where equality exists. Equality is giving and receiving, and it's also about learning balance, Libra. People think that Libra is balance, but actually it's about learning balance. Here to understand the projections of inner needs and the result of projecting. So this is also, you know, quite deep work with Carl Gustav Jung, who was the founder of psychoanalysis, the Swiss psychiatrist Carl Gustav Jung, who was born in 1875. He basically talked a lot about projection and the anima and the animus and the parts of us that are, you know, our shadow side. So if we can understand our inner needs and the results of what projecting, you know, the problems that it causes, then we can begin to heal our wounds, because a lot of our stuff does come through imprints, maybe past lives and also childhood, and we act out in relationships in ways that are not fruitful just because we, you know, have not looked at our imprints. Here it goes on to say that to learn to give and when not to give. So it's about learning when to give and when not to give, and understanding emotional dependency, and also to understand what enmeshment is. Here we need to look at emotions and being enmeshed in other people's emotions as well. Here we can have subjective judgments, motivations, conclusions about the other. And Jeff Wolf Green said in his book, he says it's a theory, so to speak, that I can't live with you and I can't live without you. So there's a thing going on there where, you know, it's an imbalance of some sort. Here we need to understand the intention of this placement and learning balance and to give to one another. Both needs and desires are important. Individual needs are also important. So we've got, you know, our own needs are important, and then the others' needs are important, but there has to be balance in that to get away from any codependency as well. Composite Pluto polarity point is going to be the first house. So what we would do is we would look to the first house or Aries. We'd look for absolute equality to each other's reality. So we look at reality, the reality of each person, because each person's reality slightly varies. Then we need to understand codependency, what that is, and we need to break cycles. So codependency can be very uncomfortable in relationships, and we can, you know, as we begin to delve in and understand what we're doing, we can begin to break those cycles. Here is about being free, and independence needs to be allowed with the relationship and existing within the relationship. The more each allows the other freedom to develop, the easier it is to maintain a relationship. So, you know, clearly we've got to be sensible. How, you know, we have boundaries, so how much freedom do we give another? It's good to discuss that with a partner or a friend or, you know, a child. And even at work we can do this, you know, where is the boundary? You know, what is okay, what is not okay? Are we meeting each other's needs, or are we playing out codependency? Here is about encouragement of each other's independence, so allowing independence, because if we cut people off from being independent, then the relationship's going to turn sour at some point. This is about being independent to allow growth to occur and to allow spiritual progress to occur and an inner relationship to God. Whatever that means to you, I understand what it means to me. And it's about the culmination of a journey together. So there you go, and I've got something else to read you here. So this is something beautiful from Jeff Wolf Green, Pluto, Volume 1, page 346. And if I read this to you, the need to merge with the source, the universal, requires that the individual leaps into the abyss with faith, so that all barriers preventing this conscious union can be dissolved. Yet this evolutionary need is commonly met with resistance and fear. Just as the wave can resist returning to the sea for a time, so does the egocentric identification within the individual resist, surrendering to the cosmic ocean or being from which he or she originated. So the more we resist, things persist. And something I've got here from Carl Gustav Jung, he says, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. So Carl Jung's work ties in nicely with evolutionary astrology, and because it's really looking at our own individuation and helping us to evolve and to heal our imprints that have caused us pain and hurt in our lives. And the healthier we are and the more clear we are, and as we heal our wounds, we have better relationships and we make better choices. So here I say we can see how this statement has a direct connection to Pluto. I can see it clearly. And also he said, what you resist not only persists, but it will grow in size. So clearly, if we resist, the problems and we don't look to remedy them, then we're just, going to repeat cycles that are not working. And that's it. And I'll be back in a few days with Scorpio, my favorite personally. I'm Scorpio rising. Okay, I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching.